Well, Dave, I'm not sure if anyone told you last week or not, but that was your 50th win as Stockport County manager. In just 84 games, you're the quickest ever to achieve that milestone, so nice little bit of history for you there.
Yeah, listen, obviously, stats that come along in a good way are really pleasing. I think it's testament to the hard work that everyone's done or put in, since I've been here. And long may the sort of mini bit of success continue. Let's try and get to 100 quicker than anybody else and start ticking milestones off.
You've spoken recently about how you can twist stats whichever way you want. It is just one defeat in your last 10 games now. One stat that must please you though, 3 clean sheets in a row and not really a lot of chances for opposition teams in those games either.
Yeah, exactly that. I think, like I say, over the course, and that's why I've said right from the start, really, if you look at statistics, we didn't start the season very well, but ultimately we have to be judged over the 46 games. Our last 10, as you say, we've lost 1, won 6, drawn 3. And if we won 6 and drew 3 our final 10, that would take us to, a little bit of maths, take us to 80 points, which I think puts us close to where we want to be. So you'd have to say that if we were guaranteed 80 points now, that you'd probably say, yeah, go on, we'll take that. We obviously aspire to get more than that, but it's tough to win games. In terms of, like I say, keeping clean sheets, games tend to tighten up a little bit towards the end of the season. Everyone at the moment has got, or pretty much got something to play for, and it does become a little bit different. The one thing, and if you look at, I suppose, the ultimate games at the back end of the season, they're normally really close, tight affairs. If we're keeping clean sheets, then especially with the quality we have in our squad, it means that we only have to produce hopefully one moment of qualities to potentially win us a game. We aren't going out with a mindset of doing that. Yeah, we're going out with a mindset of being secure and being tight, but still wanting to be expansive. Again, for us, it becomes about numbers in terms of defensively being +1 if we can, but ultimately trying to create overloads, whether we're in possession or out of possession. I would hope that we could do that better in terms of in possession of the ball with the chances that we're creating and the chances that we're taking. But like I say, if we can keep a clean sheet, we give ourselves a really good chance of picking up 3 points more often than not.
It seems to have come around quickly, but as you say, we are headed into those final 10 games now, the business end of the season. Are you satisfied with the position that we're in?
Yeah, well, I think everyone would swap with Leyton Orient without question, but we've got ourselves in a decent position with everything to play for. And like I say, if we'd have been offered that after the first 6 weeks, we'd absolutely taken it. Probably, if we're being honest, if we'd offered that at the start of the season, with an opportunity still to finish potentially anywhere between 2nd and 12th, then again I think you'd have taken it. So we've put ourselves in a spot. We've got 4 games, in particular the next 4 coming up against teams that are in and around us. They may well define where we finish in the table come first week in May. So although we're not looking ahead of what tomorrow's game brings, the next 4 potentially are ones where, yes, we're looking at things in terms of our own position, but ultimately we can potentially affect direct opponents that are challenging for the positions that we want to be in. On the flip side of that, so are they. So yeah, these next 4 could be pretty telling.
More often than not in your managerial career, you are used to arriving at this stage of the season with something to play for. Is that a different kind of pressure? Does anything change in terms of preparation, or is it about keeping things as normal as possible?
Yeah, consistency is key for us, and we spoke about this last season when we were in the same situation. I think from my own personal perspective and with the staff, being involved in it more, like I say, more often and it being, I suppose, a frequent occurrence just makes you be able to cope with that in a better, I suppose, more composed way. As I've just said, at the start of the season, this is where we wanted to be. We wanted to have meaningful games at the back end with pressure on to hopefully go and achieve something, and that's what hopefully we've got. And you have to embrace that, and you have to thrive in that environment. We're fortunate in the fact that the majority of our games, certainly at Edgeley this season, have been pretty much sold out, and have all felt like felt like big games, and that's no different. So hopefully that experience will stand us in good stead and allow us to finish the season really strongly.
Obviously, there was concern last weekend for Fraser Horse. Just looked like he rolled his ankle in the first half. Do you have a clearer idea of how long he's likely to be out for?
Not a clear idea. Again, I would hope a couple of weeks maximum. Now, where games fall within that, again, I'm not too sure. Not available for this weekend. Next weekend probably becomes a push, but you'd then say, looking at the Easter fixtures of the following weekend, the Friday, Monday, if we can have him back involved for them, then brilliant. But as with everything, there's I suppose the healing process sometimes takes a little bit of time, but not too significant, not too serious, and hopefully he'll be back on the grass very soon.
Maka and Bardo are obviously the long-term injuries. Are there any other concerns or doubts going into Saturday?
Jacob Davenport, a bit of, again, he's come from not playing a whole lot of football, so a little bit of fatigue with him. Played a game on Tuesday, which some of the lads were involved in. So he's got a little bit, but again, he will be back out on the grass on Monday. Apart from that, no, we're in a Joe Grayson, who again was out from the previous week. But apart from that, we're in decent shape. Like I say, not just in terms of squad, in terms of position. So plenty of positives.
Just looking at Mansfield, you obviously went to watch them play away at Northampton on Tuesday night. What did you make of them?
Listen, they're a strong team. They've had a good season. They're probably at the moment going through their stage of, and have been probably for the last few weeks, of their squad being challenged around injuries. I mean, and suspensions. Obviously got a sending off on Tuesday, and Stephen McLaughlin, who's been out injured for them, came on and then went back off. So they're at the minute a little bit challenged. But regardless, they're in the position they are in, deservedly so, because they're a good experienced team that are competing for the playoff position. So it'll be really tough. They played well at their place when we played against them. We weren't at our best. We went in front and ultimately lost that game. So we've got to worry about us in terms of what we produce. We'll have areas where we think we can cause them trouble, just as they'll have watched games of us and know, or have things where they think their strengths can overcome little weaknesses that we might have in certain situations. But it feels like an important game because of the direct nature of the competition in terms of where they sit within the table. Great atmosphere. They've obviously sold it out there away end. It'll be virtually another sellout, which is fantastic again. And hopefully we can rise to that occasion and perform.
John Brady obviously came out after that game on Tuesday and was pretty critical about Mansfield's physicality, cynicism in terms of breaking up play. I guess you could argue that's just the nature of playing in League Two, but was it something that stood out to you on the night?
No, it's the nature of every league. Let's be very clear. The way football's gone. Again, maybe I saw something different in terms of the game. There was a bad tackle that quite rightly got a red card. Apart from that, there were other bits and bobs. But ultimately, you got two competitive teams that are one sat, I think, prior to the game, one sat fourth in the table and one sat just outside the playoffs with everything to play for. So you'd expect it to be feisty, you'd expect it to be really competitive. I thought, to be fair, on the night, the referee let quite a lot go, which, in my opinion, made for a better game. There are certainly some officials who had this year that game would have been so fractured in terms of the amount of stoppages there would have been because of cheap fouls that it ruined the spectacle. So all the teams are competitive. You're trying to seek any advantage you can, and I'm not going to sit here and I think in the cold light of day, John would say exactly the same. If someone's counter-attacking on you and you can make what is deemed a good foul, then you're going to make it, rather than let a player from an opposition team go through and cause potentially an opportunity for them to score and win them the game. So I get a little bit where John's coming from, but again, from my side of it, didn't see too much.
And just finally looking at games elsewhere in the division as well, Stevenage obviously taking on Carlisle this weekend, so you're going into the weekend knowing that at least one of those teams is dropping points. Is that something you're looking at?
Not really. Again, Carlisle's one that we've obviously got, I wouldn't say a vested interest in, because obviously Jake's here and his dad's in charge there and doing a great job. And if you look at other people's fixtures, you can come embroiled a little bit. I think Carlisle have got everyone to play in terms of the top 10, in terms of their last games. It makes no difference. If one of them drop points and we don't get maximum points, it makes no difference. So like I said previously, we got to focus on us. If we can get 3 points and then we can all come inside and look at what results have happened elsewhere, hopefully there's some shocks and some teams in the rounds have lost and we've made up ground. That's irrelevant if we don't do our jobs. And again, there should be things over the next 7-8 weeks where naturally, because it's that close in the division, teams within the top 11 will be playing each other pretty much every week. So I imagine there will be change all the way to the 8th of May, or whatever the last game is. That's when we need to be in a position where we want to be, and hopefully that'll be the case.
Thanks for your time, Dave. All the best on Saturday.
Cheers, thank you.